Hi there, my name is Troy Kinsey. Welcome back to the last module in our training series, Service Management Essentials. In this series, we've discussed how to assess and mature service delivery and support organizations. In this particular module, we're going to use the knowledge gathered throughout the course and adopt a practical and time-tested model to improve a service management structure, process, tool or technology, or personnel-related component. We'll adopt an outcome-based approach that is reviewed in even more detail in my guidebook, Practical Service Management, and I'll include a link in the description below. So let's begin. We seldom get the opportunity to create a process from scratch. More often, we're tasked with improving an existing process to achieve better outcomes. In this module, we outline a strategy for creating or improving service management processes. This approach can be and has been used to create new and mature existing service management processes for organizations of various sizes and industries. This approach can also be applied to improve both structures and systems, as we'll demonstrate in other videos. All right, so let's get started. Advantages of an outcome-based approach. What are the benefits to adopting an outcome-based approach to process redesign? So the first is customer-centric. This method puts the customer experience first. By understanding customers' needs, preferences, and expectations, service providers can tailor processes to meet those needs and deliver more meaningful outcomes. Efficiency. An outcome-based approach can help service providers streamline processes and deliver changes that are necessary to achieve desired outcomes. This can lead to increased efficiency, reduced cost, and improved resource utilization. Measurable outcomes. With an outcome-based approach, process owners can set specific measurable outcomes and track progress towards these outcomes. This allows them to demonstrate the value of their services and identify areas for improvement. Speaking of which, continual improvement. An outcome-based approach encourages continual improvement by focusing on outcomes rather than activities. This allows process owners to adapt to changing client or customer needs and market trends and continually improve to meet those needs. And then collaboration. This method requires collaboration between process owners, service owners, providers, vendors, partners, and customers. By working together to define outcomes and track progress, service providers can build stronger relationships with their customers and deliver more meaningful outcomes. So let's review a 10-step outcome-based approach. Step 1, review specific terminology. It's essential to review new keywords, terms, and phrases up front to avoid wasted time and frustration. When organizations develop their own unique definitions for common industry terms, it can cause confusion for new team members or those unfamiliar with the organization's terminology. Therefore, wherever possible, let's use common industry terminology instead of making up new terms or continuing to use outdated terms just because they're familiar. This applies not only to technical or process terminology, but also to service management titles, such as service owner, incident commander, process owner, practice owner, etc. Whenever we discuss improving a specific component, we will define these terms specific to each process to ensure clarity across the team. So step 2, agree to objectives and outcomes. To determine outcomes for each process or practice, we can use the maturity levels defined in Module 4 as a guide. What are we trying to achieve with each process? For example, we have defined change management as a component that enables service desk analysts and developers to safely, easily, and quickly deliver changes to production. Does our current process, therefore, achieve these objectives effectively and efficiently? For clarity, we identify any gaps as we list our objectives and compare with our new component effectiveness, and then outline how we're going to design the solution to accomplish these outcomes efficiently. Step 3, revisit current maturity status. We'll briefly review the results of the work we've conducted in Module 4. Specifically, we're going to be interested in those attributes that are absent or not fully fleshed out, as these represent clear opportunities for improvement. Step 4, integrate applicable design principles. Design principles are one way to articulate the strategic opportunities of the organization. So what's important to the organization? And these might include how the organization stays competitive in the marketplace, for example. Design principles might include various aspects associated with service, such as reliability, ease of use, competitive cost, empowering customers, convenience, etc. Again, in the guidebook, I provide an approach to develop design principles and then incorporate how to incorporate those into the development of our processes. As with each step in the development process, the team should step through these principles to discover and prioritize opportunities for improvement. Step 5, assign roles and responsibilities. So who should and will be accountable or responsible for various aspects of the process? We're going to want to involve them in each step of the improvement process. These roles will be familiar to you from previous modules. So first, service owners, they play a vital role in the success of every service component process, as they will use these processes to deliver and support their services. Service owners will partner with process owners and process managers to ensure that processes are easy to use and meet the needs of the delivery team and customers. Process owners and process managers. As we discussed in previous modules, the process owner is responsible for the overall design, implementation, and improvement of the process, while process managers oversee the activities of the team who execute the process or to the process. The process owner is typically the person who leads the improvement process. They're suitably equipped with the knowledge and experience to do so. They should at least play an integral role in the design and deployment of the process. Let's use incident management as an example. The process owner might be an individual who works on the service management delivery team and is accountable for ensuring that the incident management is efficient and effective in meeting expected outcomes. They may also be accountable for other related processes such as service request management, change management, and problem management as well for that matter. Process manager, on the other hand, might be the manager of the service desk. They're responsible for managing the team using the process to address incidents, but they are accountable for using the process to address incidents in a timely and professional manner. It's not necessary to assign a process manager to every single component. The primary purpose of a process manager is to ensure that the proposed process changes can reasonably be adopted by those teams responsible for using them. As long as there's a structured method for feedback, agreement, and sign off by the leaders of those teams accepting the changes, a process manager isn't always necessary for every single process. Partners and vendors. We depend on our partners and vendors to meet customer needs. Therefore, it's essential that we have clearly defined expectations and agreements with them, as well as clear communications, transparency, and collaboration, as these are key to achieving successful outcomes and maintaining strong relationships across all those teams engaged in delivery and support. And then leadership. The support of leadership is critical to the success of any service management improvement effort. It's important to ensure that leadership understands the objectives and outcomes of the improvement initiative and is committed to providing the necessary resources, support, and prioritization. Without leadership buy-in and support, it can be challenging, really challenging, to make progress and achieve the desired results. Therefore, it's important to engage leadership early on to ensure that they understand the value and impact of the improvements being proposed. This is going to help ensure that the necessary resources are available and that the initiative remains a priority for the organization. So step 6, develop simple and easy to follow processes. It's important to make sure that everyone understands the basic steps involved in each process. So have we examined and documented the steps involved in the process to determine the most efficient and effective set of steps to achieve our desired objective, outcomes based on our prerequisites? It's important to note that we should design each process around standard scenarios versus focusing initially, at least, on outliers, the what-if scenarios. So step 7, outline training plan and requirements. Training and documentation are key for the success of any service management component. So is there a comprehensive, reliable, and pertinent training program to ensure that those accountable or responsible for the process are well prepared to support and or deliver the services using the process? The following are methods used to refine and tailor processes based upon organizational specific needs. These methods also allow teams and stakeholders to provide feedback to continually refine each process. So table reads, we discussed this in another module and I'll include a link to that, but briefly, a table read is a term used in theater and television industry where actors gather around a table and read through a script from beginning to end. Each actor reads their lines in turn as the writers and the directors take notes on what works and what doesn't, and then sets clear expectations. This process helps iron out the flow of the script and ensures that everyone understands how the play or the show is going to work when performed live for an audience. Likewise, table reads are an efficient method to identify gaps and resolve potential issues. In our case, a table read involves those who are responsible or accountable for the process, such as members of the design team, service owners, process managers, etc. In a collaborative setting, the use case takes the place of a television script, with each person voicing their part in the process. So, simulation exercises. These are another valuable tool for testing and refining a service management process. These exercises allow participants to practice the process in a simulated environment, identify potential issues, and develop solutions before implementing the new or revised process. During a simulation exercise, the team members walk through a predefined scenario. This can be done through role playing, group discussions, or other interactive methods. Participants are encouraged to think critically and identify areas where the process could be improved. Through simulation exercises, stakeholders can better understand the service management process and really how it should be executed in the real world situation. They also can also identify gaps in knowledge or training that need to be addressed before the process is actually implemented in real life. Simulation exercises can be a fun way for the team to become more familiar with and refine the process. So step 8, roadmaps, placement, and schedule. In the last module, we outlined a comprehensive roadmap and the reasoning for each component's placement in that roadmap. For each process, we're going to include or want to include additional information and considerations to keep in mind when rolling out new changes. Transitioning from an existing to a new process requires careful planning, training, and communication. To effectively transition to a new process, we should take into account the following. Transition plan. So a transition plan outlines the steps involved in transitioning from the existing to a new process. The plan should include a timeline, a list of tasks, and responsibilities assigned to each team member. This transition may take a few weeks or several months. Communications. So the transition plan should be well communicated to all stakeholders, of course, including those vendors, partners, customers, employees who will be impacted by the new process. Clear and consistent communication is key to a successful transition. Training and education, of course, training should also be provided for all those involved, including those who manage, deliver, and support the process, and those who use it. It's important to think through the types of education that will resonate and appeal to each group the most. Training should be tailored to the needs of each group and include a variety of methods and media, such as workshops, videos, integrated job aids, table reads, simulations, etc. Okay, pull versus push approach. Instead of just pushing the new process on individuals, the pull approach involves identifying key stakeholders, often called champions, and asking them to advocate, train, and help educate others. This helps to create buy-in and ensures that everyone is on board with the new process. Repeat the message and provide feedback. So the new process should be communicated repeatedly using various formats and venues to ensure that everyone is aware of the changes. Feedback should also be encouraged, and questions should be answered in a prompt manner to increase confidence and ease the transition. By following these steps, organizations can successfully transition from their existing process while minimizing disruption and ensuring that everyone is on board with the changes. So step 9, agree to key metrics. So defining success for a service management component involves setting measurable objectives and determining metrics to track progress towards achieving those objectives. The following 4 categories of measurements can be used to evaluate progress and success. So 1, where are we now? So measure the current state of the process, including the technologies and the people involved. 2, where do we want to be? Define the target state, which may include specific goals or objectives regarding increased efficiency, improved service quality, or reduced cost. 3, how are we progressing towards our goal? Track progress towards achieving the target state by collecting data and analyzing metrics such as incident resolution time, change success rate, customer satisfaction scores, etc. To determine the measurable difference between our current state and the target maturity level for each process, we define specific metrics to track progress towards achieving the target state. For example, if our objective is to reduce incident resolution time by, say, 50%, then we can use metrics such as average resolution time, number of incidents resolved within a certain time frame, and customer satisfaction scores to track progress towards achieving this objective. We're also going to use benchmarking or want to use benchmarking data to compare our performance against industry standards or best practices. By regularly monitoring and analyzing these metrics, we can determine whether we're on track to achieve our objectives and identify opportunities for improvement. So 4, what opportunities exist to improve the process? Identify areas where the process can be improved, such as optimization, technology upgrades, or training development or personnel. We can use current ticket information to associate, for example, time to resolution with incident or service request types. This requires a bit of sleuthing, however, and we'll discuss opportunities to improve what information and metrics service analysts can use to shine a light on other opportunities as we continue to mature in other videos. So in the other videos ahead, we're going to examine measurable differences between current state and our target MVP. We'll do this in other specific videos towards modules, towards component improvements. So step 10, suggestions for continual improvement. The final step in our process improvement journey is to establish a model for measuring continued success and improvement. We've created a roadmap that outlines the steps we're going to take to continue to improve. We've also established structured governance meetings to drive consistent decision-making, formalized communications. We'll also use these meetings to review progress, performance, and identify new opportunities for improvement. We'll continue to use the governance meetings established in Module 3 to monitor and continue to improve and evolve each component. We'll also use these weekly meetings as an opportunity to review material for distribution to stakeholders. This approach will ensure that our service management ecosystem remains efficient, effective, and aligned with the needs of the organization and customers. For each component reviewed, we're going to suggest additional areas for improvement. We want to do this. We want to examine common themes, including the need for greater integration, the use of feedback loops to drive continuous improvement. We'll also want to discuss opportunities and importance of technology, automation, AI. As we search for ways to improve, it's important to teach members of the delivery and support teams how to analyze trends and identify bottlenecks and suggest improvements. These efforts should involve the entire service team, and this will help foster collaboration and provide diverse insights for process enhancements. Once we've established each process, we can adopt agile methodologies to make incremental improvements. Lastly, as we've discussed throughout this series, it's important to incorporate the use of data-driven decision-making to identify areas for improvement objectively. This structured data-driven approach should not only be applied to individual components, but of course to how improvements are defined and prioritized across the entire organization. So as a wrap up, this concludes Module 6, the last module in this training series. Thank you all for watching these training modules. We've worked really hard to pull together information to make these as meaningful and practical as possible. Hopefully you found them informative and useful. As always, thank you for your support. We will continue to make videos. Stay tuned for future videos to come. In the meantime, have a fantastic day. We'll see you soon.